Hey, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to review my laptop, my MacBook Pro 2015. What actually the fuck is this thing? MacBook Pro Retina 15-inch mid-fit 2015, 2.2 gigahertz Intel Core i7, 16 gig memory, startup disk, whatever. Graphics Intel Iris Pro 36 megabytes, and so forth. So this is my computer that I use on a daily basis. Been using it for about 5 years, 4 or 5 years, and yeah, basically the point of this video is to say whether or not this is worth getting. I guess nowadays you get the updated version of this, so it's, just this line of computers in general, is it worth the money? I would say basically, yeah, it's worth the money to me because I'm like a Mac guy and I've been using Macs my whole life because my dad used to work for the school board and he had access to the computer lab, so I actually got a chance to use Macs when they were sort of becoming popular. And so yeah, I grew up using Macs, and this is my maybe my 8th or 9th Mac in my life. So I've gone through a few of them, but they usually last a pretty long time. The last one I had got damaged because I dropped a mug of tea on it because the handle snapped off. It wasn't my fault. And that totally just destroyed my computer. And then I replaced it with this one. And yeah, 15 inch. It's got, I don't know, it's kind of just, people know what these things look like. It's got the touchpad here. It's got, the keyboard, which actually currently is glitching out quite a bit because this computer from this period of time, there's a recall on them, and it's the keyboards are basically fucked for a lot of them. So you can take it to the Genius Bar for free, supposedly, and get them to fix it for free because they're aware of this glitch. It's not just, me with my gross fingers, messing up the keys. But yeah, most of my keys are just very glitched out right now. And yeah, as far as complaints of this thing, the pros of this thing are it's generally pretty fast. Even at 2015, it's a fast computer. I've updated the OS to one of the latest versions, and it yeah, it's fast. It's got enough storage for me, and I actually do a lot of online marketing and stuff on this computer. So I use it intensely a lot, every day. This computer burns my eyes out. I use it so much. It's just it's always in use. And so for that, it's pretty good that I keep it on all the time. And I'm just, as you can see, I have like 50 tabs open, pretty normal. Yeah, so the monitor is a little small. 15 inches is not most people probably that are doing things like gaming and stuff aren't going to want a 15 incher. Most people I know now that are serious about doing a lot of stuff on the computer have the dual monitor setup, which I don't have. I just have this single 15-inch monitor. So that kind of sucks, I guess, but I'm okay with it. I can survive. The thing that sucks besides the keyboard being glitchy is occasionally the computer kind of bricks on me, the screen will go black. I don't know why. This touchpad will freeze and become bricked. And so that's scary because all of a sudden your computer's just like a black screen, can't push this down. And then after a few minutes, it'll just come back to life or something will happen. I think it has to do with the power because whenever that has happened, it has to do with the fact that it's plugged into it, maybe a different plug. And the power maybe is kind of something up with the power. If it's quote unquote dirty power or something, if it doesn't like the power source, it will basically shit the bed and go into a coma for a second. So, but it always bounces back. I'm reluctant to take it in, even to fix the keyboard, because I don't want the Genius Bar getting a hold of my computer And not that they won't fix it. I'm sure they would, but I don't want them keeping it for a week and a half. Well, it's my work computer. I don't have another computer to work on, so they're not getting my computer. I was gonna take it to some sketchy ass fucking guy in my town, and I'm like, but he's in some shack behind some buildings, and he's never open. So I'm waiting for him to be open to take it to this dude. But and plus it's the Genius Bar in my town. It's like way the fuck like out of my way in this mall that I don't really want to go to. So, and I don't like going to the mall. I don't like going in the Mac store. It's just like, it drives me insane. So I'd rather almost like try to fix it myself, which I did. I did try to fix it myself, but the D key, just like, it's still, you can't really see it. Maybe you can kind of see the D key is a little bit messed up. I actually pried it off and like vacuumed all the hair out of it and shit, like all the cookie crumbs and stuff that these keys get underneath them. But there is a legit recall going on with this computer's keyboard. So, and the thing is, that's one thing that really like boils my piss, man. It's just like you can't fix these things yourself. They basically they've made it so that you can't, like, to get into to get at the keyboard, you have to like unscrew a bunch of stuff with like a microscopic screwdriver and shit. So it's mega annoying to actually like get into this computer to fix anything. So you do have to take it to the geniuses up at the Genius Bar to like let them do stuff to it, and then they don't do anything. They just send it away to some guy in a dark basement somewhere, like, with his goggles and shit. He's gonna fix your shit, make it good as new. But yeah, I trust that. That guy probably, those Mac people, like they're legit. They're like, it's my problem. I don't like, just because I don't like going to the Genius Bar. It's pretty good, but you have to have warranties for everything, right? Because you go in there and there's like always like 10,000 people in there, and you have to flag some guy down and then explain your problem to him or her, and then they'll potentially hook you up with the right person to fix it. Like, they can rarely do anything at the store, so it's just like a room full of like almost like call center people. So that kind of irritates me. The other thing that irritates me about this computer is that people talk about Macs being sort of very super proprietary and expensive, like a lot of the software. Like, the thing that really really pisses me off, I guess, is the iTunes. It has like the new iTunes. Like, I'm used to like iTunes from 10 years ago where I can actually make my own, like I can mix and match my own shit. But then at some point iTunes sort of turned into, the iTunes store, and it's like on your machine. This makes me sound like I'm an old geezer talking about this shit. But like, I really don't like the fact that my iTunes used to be, something that I could customize the way I liked it. And then eventually it just turned into the store, like you're interfacing with the Apple store. So what I did was I took the old like iTunes version. I don't know what version it was, but I think it was version 10. It was some old version from a while ago, and I gutted my computer's iTunes software and then jammed another iTunes, like an old iTunes, on there, and it was just exactly what I wanted because it was old iTunes. I had to delete like 700 files to do it, but I was able to get an old iTunes on the computer that was the same as my old iTunes, like from a long time ago, which I liked. But then one day recently, I accidentally, or maybe it was automatic, it just like updated itself, and and then when it updated itself, it like installed the new iTunes again. So like, I'm back to having the brand new iTunes, which I did everything I could to get rid of. But when you're using the Mac, it's very it treats you like an upper middle class citizen, like that you have all the money in the world to do whatever. Like, everything's linked to the appropriate website, and like you can't try to like get a cracked version of some Adobe shit, and then like immediately it's trying to contact the Adobe store to like report you, to be like, hey, this guy's got an illegal product. Like, I probably shouldn't even admit this because I could be thrown in the solitary confinement for But actually, that's just a joke. I never actually used an illegal Adobe software. That was just a joke for YouTube. So, yeah, basically. And the other thing that makes me want to, jump off a cliff sometimes is this power adapter thing. Like, oh, just like it breaks. These things break so much. Like all of a sudden, this light will not come on anymore, and then it's like the reason being that somewhere in this chain of like the wire in this really long like squiggly wire, there'll be a break in the chain, and then at that point your thing won't work, and then you have to get a new thing, and these things cost like $150. So it's like you don't want your adapter to break, because that's a pain in the fucking like arsehole to the max. It's just like, and also this block down here, whatever the fuck it's called, it like last time it was like white hot. It was like I could heat my food on it. Like I could cook an egg on this thing last time before I replaced it. Now I have a warranty for it, so if this thing ever gets boiling hot, which it just does, I wouldn't say it randomly does, but if this thing ever breaks down or has any kind of issues, that either this thing won't work, which means your computer will die and then you're fucked, or this thing will get super hot and you'll call them and you'll say, hey, is it normal for my power unit thing to be super duper hot? And they're like, oh yeah, you might want to take it in, and it's just like, yeah, I might want to take it in. It's gonna like burn my house down, but it never did burn my house down. This is a new one, so it's warm. You can put it up against your balls and it feels good. Yeah, and so basically, this computer is worth it if you make money and you're like into like music production, like me. I do that kind of make songs and do graphical stuff, and like I do a bunch of like internet marketing shit on this computer. So it's like I've got all sorts of weird plugins and stuff. I just like pimp it out with all this stuff so I can get my shit done. Recording music on this thing is fine. Like unless this thing is glitching out, like doing the black screen of death thing, or you get like the swirling rainbow wheel of like insanity. Like if that happens, basically it's fine. I have friends that just like hate these computers with a passion, and I can understand why, because you spend like $2,000 and then something super retarded like this thing just breaks randomly, this cord, and then you have no power, and that's bullshit. There's a lot of bullshit associated with Macs. I can't really defend it. I probably will, like maybe for my next computer, I'll probably get like just a cheaper PC and try that out. I've never actually owned a PC. So I might do that next time. By the time I'm rich from this YouTube channel, I'll be able to get a PC and like a dual screen MacBook, like, quad core or whatever. But this is a pretty good machine. I would definitely recommend it. I guess I should just stop talking now, because I mean there's so much more I could get into about this machine, but it's like, ask me if you have any questions or comments. Just like ask me questions in the comment section. I can try to answer. It's an old machine, or if you have a comment about how you like, what kind of Mac you have, I'd like to hear what you have, because it would be good to connect with some other Mac users or some Mac haters, or just some nerds in general. Just anybody. Like I noticed people were watching my review of this thing, and I came back to the channel after leaving it for a few months, and I was like, holy shit, people actually watched my review on this thing. Anyway, so this is not the same thing. I use this for music production, so it's like this thing actually goes very well with this thing. So that's one thing I do. Like I can just like sit around in my boxers and record music pretty easy. I just plug this guy into here, into the USB. And one thing I should mention before I go is like, if you don't, at this point, this computer, because it's so old, it's like 5 years old, it's still going strong. I actually have a computer downstairs that I should maybe review or talk about, which is like a 2000 iMac. it's sort of like this ET looking fucking computer. It still works to this day. It still works. The only thing that sucks is the keyboard's a bit clunky, but Mac. Basically, I'm just a Mac guy. What can I say? So, but yeah, I had something else I was gonna say. Yeah, it's great for recording music and stuff like that. You can just plug in and go. And these things don't generally die unless you do stuff like take it in the shower with you. Just drool on it or whatever. It's gonna water. This thing does not like water, so just try to avoid water. Try to avoid really fucking with this cord. Like, be careful with it, and then it won't break as quickly. Like, I'm glad I have a warranty for that now. The camera on this computer is a little bit ghetto. Like the photo program that it comes with, like what's it called again? Hold on. I use it sometimes. Photo booth, yeah, photo booth. The camera on this computer it could be clearer. Anyway, so if you have any comments, leave me a comment. Love to hear from you. Peace out.